Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of VGU Talks. I'm Don the Expert of Calls from VideoGamesUncovered.com, and let's talk games. Now, of course, this week is a pretty big week as we are getting into the zone of Halo 5. I'm actually really looking forward to how Halo 5 plays out, even though I don't own an Xbox One, but I know my mate does, and I'm going to jump over there as soon as he has it, and we're going to play some of that, and I really am looking forward to see how it does play out. But there is one concern with it, and this is a concern with many AAA games that are either out now or are on their way of coming out, and it's about microtransactions. Now, I've talked about microtransactions many times before. I want to give my 2 cents as to where this practice truly belongs and where it seems to work the best. Because with games like Halo, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Destiny, and many other titles out there that are using microtransactions when you've already put £60 or even more on the table, paying for it, that's not a good place. No, at least in my eyes, not a good place. So let's start this from where I believe microtransactions truly work and where they really belong. They belong best in free-to-play games, and we're talking free-to-play games on both console, PC, and on mobile. And perfect examples of microtransactions done right can be seen in games such as Warframe for PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and a game such as Fallout Shelter for iOS and Android. Both games do the perfect thing when it comes to their microtransactions, and all they do is simply let you decide whether you wish to purchase these or not. So allow me to give you an example of what I mean here. Let's say I'm playing Warframe and I want to make myself a brand new shiny weapon. Now you have 2 ways of going about this. You can either get yourself a weapon blueprint or the weapon parts, depending on what weapon it is and whether it's a prime or not. Go onto your forge and create them. But in order to make that weapon, you could be waiting around 12 to 24 hours before you're able to equip that weapon and then use it. But that's not a big problem, since within that 12 to 24 hour window, you can either finish off other weapons that are being made, or just go out there and kill a heck of a lot of Grenadier Corpus or Infested with the weapons and warframes that you already have at your disposal. The second option is to purchase the weapon outright using the in-game currency known as platinum. Now this can be anywhere between 20 going up to even the 70s or even the hundreds in some cases for certain weapons. But I will note this, if you're looking to purchase prime weapons, you can only do so in the prime access packs, and even then you only get for Warframe for weapons that they're only selling in that pack for that month, and then they will be either put away in the tower for you to have to grind for, and for you to have to wish on the RNG lords for you actually pick up the blueprints for, or they'll be put in the legacy vault where you potentially never see them ever again. And the great thing about Warframe is that it doesn't force you to make a choice. It doesn't force you to put down that 20, 30, 40, 50 platinum purchase when you can just buy it and make it all with in-game currency and with a little bit of patience. And the great thing about this is, you can just be on the marketplace and you can look at all the weapon blueprints that you want to make a weapon for and think to yourself, okay, I want to make the carrot today, I want to make this assault rifle, I want to build it, and then go into Warframe and I want to play with it. When you select that blueprint, there is no prompts coming up on screen or a little box coming up on screen stopping you from making that blueprint purchase by saying, you do realize you can actually buy this weapon outright by just giving us 30 platinum, right? Why don't you do that instead? Yes or no? There's no prompts like that. And because of that, the game and the developers never force you to make a cash-in choice. It is completely up to you, the player, which therefore makes the model work insanely better. Now, by bringing up this example, does this mean that if you put in the same example in a AAA game, would it work? To an extent, it may be able to work, but there's one crucial thing that can stop microtransactions from working in AAA games that you've already put money down for. And it's exactly that. You have put money on the table and said to them, okay, I will give you 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, maybe even more money for this game that I'm really interested in playing and that I'm really looking forward to. Thus meaning that that is your investment onto the disc or the digital download that you are committing to. And everything that is on that disc or in that digital download should, in theory, belong to you. Including things that are trapped behind paywalls and including things that are trapped behind microtransactions. Whether this be exclusive emotes, whether this be exclusive pieces of fashionable armor, or a weapon skin, or things along that line. Now, I do understand when it comes to cosmetics and aesthetic touches to make your experience feel more personal, they are completely optional. They shouldn't give you any power boosts or anything along those lines. And luckily, games like Warframe, games like Halo 5, and even Rise of the Tomb Raider are not necessarily doing this. Well, I say the Rise of the Tomb Raider yet again with how their card system is going. There are a few cards in there that seem to be a little overpowered in comparison to others, but I'll leave that for another time. But my complaint is like this. If I've already spent 60, 80, you already know how many pounds, on a AAA game that I've been really looking forward to this whole time, I have put it into my PS4 or Xbox One or my PC, I'm downloading an update for it, I have it right there and then. If the emotes are there, and if I didn't spend that extra money to get the pre-order bonus emote, then I think that's fine. Because that's an exclusive for those guys that decided to put their money down early on, and that's the incentive that they're going towards. That's something completely different. But let's say, for example, that for Halloween, for example, with Destiny, they have an emote that allows you to dance around like you're dancing to Thriller by Michael Jackson. However, this costs $10. $10 for a microtransaction which allows you to dance like MJ. And if that's going to be in a patch update that kind of becomes the norm for a game that you've already spent X amount of money on, why can't you just unlock it through some means? Why can't you have an option like you do in Warframe, where you can spend that $10 to get this emote and dance around doing Thriller, Thriller Light? No, I'm never going to do X Factor. But the other option is to do an exclusive Halloween themed event where you'll be going against the Fallen or some other race that's in Destiny, and you have to do some crazy things, or it's just a random event that will randomly pop up as you're exploring through one of these planets. And if you commit to it, and if you complete it, you may just have a chance through the RNG to actually get this emote. What a rewarding factor! You did this, you committed to this, it's an exclusive event for the season, and you get the best possible reward that you can get for that season. It kind of works like with Team Fortress 2, where you can get the Halloween exclusive hats. And we all love hats, right? We love those hats. Free-to-play games do microtransactions right. Not all of them do it right, but a lot of them are starting to get the idea as to what makes a free-to-play game work with microtransactions. Digital Extremes has learnt this with Warframe, and they're doing a fantastic job to make the game even better. Even recently in the dev stream, they've announced that they're getting rid of revives and paying for revives, since the only players that were actually paying to get more revives in the game were those who, quote, didn't know any better. So it's not a matter of the practice should go away, it's more of a matter of the practice should be refined and placed within those games that need it in order to survive, such as free-to-play games. However, for a AAA game to truly succeed on the market, and especially when you've already put money down to see that game succeed, the best way to make that game even more valuable, at least in my eyes, is by giving the players the content that they deserve and they can earn within game. Reward the players that play. Or is that just a old mentality now that should die out? I don't know about you guys, but I think playing a game for a good period of time when I've already spent money on it and being rewarded something badass because I've achieved something incredible in that game feels a heck of a lot more rewarding than simply saying, oh, I can get this weapon? Okay, here's $10. But with that said, guys, I now leave it to you. What are your thoughts on microtransactions and where do you think they belong in games? Do you think they have a place in AAA or do you think they should stay in free-to-play? Let me know in the comment section below and I'll be seeing you guys next time for another edition of VGU Talks.